Hey y'all, so I just want to get on here and answer this question because when I got stuck by a needle, this is exactly what I was thinking when they told me I had to get the patient's permission. I was like, wait, what would happen if the patient said no?
Accidentally sticking myself with a needle while suturing and had to get the patient tested to make sure they didn't have anything I needed to be treated for.
That's 200 pounds off for a with 22 kilograms of baggage included. Book now with Jet2 Holidays.
Let's break it down. So first and foremost, anytime you do something in medicine, any procedures that you perform, you have to let the patient know what you're doing and get their permission, even in this case, okay? So you can't just hold them down and force them to do the blood draw because you got stuck by a needle. You literally have to go to the patient, tell them what happened, and then get their permission. So what happens if they said no? What happens when you get stuck by a needle? Let's start there. So the first thing that you want to do is make sure you run to the sink and wash your hands. You don't want to sanitize it. You don't want to just wipe it off. You want to make sure that you go to the sink and wash your hands thoroughly. And you don't want to keep going because in my mind as a student, I'm like, oh my gosh, do I say something now? I mean, I don't want to come off like I'm incompetent, like I don't know what I'm doing. So do I just say something now or wait till we're done suturing? And I decided to say something and they were like, okay, just drop the needle and go wash your hands. So you want to stop, drop, and wash, okay? Next thing that you want to do is make sure you contact the person who is in charge, whether it's the charge nurse, the supervisor, whoever can get the ball going, and contact occupational health, because you want to make sure this is documented and you want to make sure that you are following the right protocols in this situation. So after I contacted the right person, they told me that the next step was to actually go to the patient and get their permission to draw their blood. So after getting the patient's permission, the next thing that I would have to do once the nurse comes over and draws the blood is to physically walk the blood samples to the lab myself. So I wouldn't just give it to somebody else and say, hey, make sure you send this to the lab. I would have to physically take it and walk it to the lab myself. So that's very important because you don't want to leave this in somebody else's hand. You want to make sure it gets done. You physically walk it to the lab and you explain what happened. You have to fill out some paperwork and they will get it done right away. These labs are considered stat labs, so they would get them done right away and you wouldn't have to wait a couple of days for the results. You would get them immediately. So once the lab processes that sample and the results come back, if it's negative, then you don't have anything to worry about. If it comes back positive, then they would have to treat you. They would have to put you on post-exposure prophylaxis, and you have to act really fast. You have to be given this cocktail within 72 hours. So PEP is a cocktail that they give you to prevent you from getting HIV. So it's not 100% effective. It's really effective, but not 100%. So the quicker that you take it, the more effective it is. So the original question was, what would happen if the patient refused? Okay, so now we're going to discuss that. So if the patient refused and they decided that, you know what, I don't want you drawing my blood, then now you have to go to occupational health and then they will get your labs, determine if you have HIV, hepatitis. Sometimes you do know if the patient is high risk or not. You have their chart, you're taking care of them. So sometimes you do know their status. So they would really just do an assessment on you. This is time sensitive. It's usually best within 72 hours and they have to decide whether you should be placed on PEP or not. And after that, you would have to get regular testing to make sure that you didn't get anything. Hopefully that answers your question. It can be scary in healthcare sometimes. That's why you have to keep yourself safe. Wear the right PPE, follow the right precautions so that you are keeping yourself safe and keeping your patients safe. See you guys next time.